Північна Корея, родина Кім, яка тримає у рабстві більш ніж 20-мільйонну частину корейського народу. Наша розвідка фіксує не лише передачу зброї з Північної Кореї до Росії, але й передачу людей. Це робітники для російських заводів замість убитих на війні громадян Росії і особовий склад для російської армії. І це уже факт. Фактично, це участь вже другої держави у війні проти України на стороні Росії. Кожен бачить допомогу іранського режиму для Путіна, так само, як і співпрацю Китаю з Росією. Попри заяви, Пекін утримується від справді серйозних дієвих кроків для того, щоб зупинити Путіна, зупинити агресію і порушення Росією статуту ООН. І ми маємо чесно говорити, українці та всі наші партнери, якщо ми не посилимось суттєво зараз, Путін встигне суттєво посилитись в наступному році, посилитись так, щоб назавжди відкинути дипломатію. Росія повинна програти у війні проти України. І це не заморозка, і це не торгівля територіями чи суверенітетом України. Ми повинні
This is my video update on this Wednesday afternoon, October the 16th, coming to you from Nicosia, Cyprus. And today will be forever known as Victory Plan Day because we finally got it. We finally got Elensky's victory plan. He presented his victory plan to the Ukraine parliament. Are you guys ready to hear Elensky's victory plan? Let's go. Let's go. The plan consists of 5 points and 3 secret annexes. The first point is to invite Ukraine to NATO. The second is defense. The third is deterrence. The fourth is strategic economic potential. The fifth is designed for the post-war period. The first point is to invite Ukraine to NATO now. This will be a sign of determination and show how partners see Ukraine in the security architecture. The second is defense. We need to increase our own production as well as increased aid from Western partners, operations in certain places to prevent buffer zones in Ukraine, withdrawal of air defenses, joint shooting down of Russian aircraft with partners, increased use of Ukrainian drones and missiles, and removal of restrictions on the use of weapons, access to allied intelligence. The third is deterrence of the Russian Federation. Ukraine proposes to host a comprehensive non-nuclear strategic deterrence package on its soil, which would be sufficient to protect Ukraine from any military threat from Russia. Fourth is economic peace through economic strength and pressure on Russia, in particular limiting oil prices and exports, developing Ukraine's strategic economic potential, and strengthening sanctions. The fifth point is post-war. After the war, we will have one of the most experienced military contingents, people who have military experience with international weapons. This is a guarantee of security in Europe. This is a worthy mission for our heroes. After the war is over, the Ukrainian military can apply its experience to strengthen NATO and European defenses and will be able to replace the U.S. contingent. The defense pillar of the plan has a secret annex, and only those partners with the appropriate military assistance capabilities have access to it. The deterrence clause also has a secret annex and has already been received by the leaders of the United States, the United Kingdom, France, Italy, and Germany. As part of the plan, Ukraine proposes to deploy a comprehensive non-nuclear strategic deterrence package on its soil, which will be sufficient to protect Ukraine from any military threat from the Russian Federation. The urgency of the victory plan is right now. If we start implementing the victory plan now, we may be able to end the war no later than next year. This is courtesy of the Twitter account of Nexta, very pro-Elensky, very pro-Ukraine. So that's the victory plan. What do you guys think? What do you guys think of the awesome victory plan from Elensky, which if implemented now, will guarantee an end to the conflict in Ukraine in 2025. So I will summarize the victory plan from Elensky. Give me money, give me weapons, Ukraine and NATO, and the US must fight Russia. That's the victory plan. That's it. That is it. And create a no-fly zone. This is the exact plan that he has presented to the Rada, to the Ukraine Parliament, which we have been talking about on this channel and on the Duran for the past month or so. No different. That's the victory plan. And collective West officials who saw this victory plan when Elensky was in D.C. a couple of weeks ago, and they said that this was a wish list and not a plan, they are absolutely right. This is a wish list that Elensky will never get. Never going to happen. Never going to happen. He wants to put a price cap on Russian oil and Russian exports. Already kind of have that. It's not working, and you're not going to get any more price caps. He's talking about building Ukraine defense industry. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Russia's not going to let that happen. Creating a no-fly zone? Not going to happen. Will not happen. Getting into NATO? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Oh boy. So that's it. That is the victory plan, everybody. And there's a lot of there's a bunch of secret annexes, super secret annexes, which only military personnel with the appropriate clearance, they have access to the defense annex, which is secret, and then you have the deterrence annex, which is also secret, which has been presented to the U.S., the U.K., France, Italy, and Germany. Wow. There's also some secret parts to Elensky's victory plan. You know, I contacted my sources in Ukraine, my sources in the Rada, in the Ukraine Parliament, and they told me what some of the secret annexes are. So I'm going to let you know what those secrets are in the victory plan that no one else knows, but you're hearing it from this channel first. The first secret part of the victory plan that no one knows, the secret annex, according to Elensky, according to Nexta, is that Elensky, he demands that every capital in the collective West rename a street after Podolyak. That's what the secret annex says. I'm just telling you the information that I received from my sources in the Ukraine Parliament. He demands that every capital in the collective West have a street named after Podolyak. Preferably, he would like that street named Podolyak Street. Or you could have Podolyak Avenue or Podolyak Boulevard. Also, Podolyak Road. So that's one of the secret annexes. The other secret annex is that Elensky is demanding a home in every country in the collective West. He demands a home. No less than 4 bedrooms and 3 baths. So that's also part of the secret annex. I also got information that he is asking the collective West to provide him with green T-shirts forever, an endless supply of green T-shirts, and finally, he is demanding that the United States, that the Academy Awards, the Oscars, they present them with the Best Actor award every year in perpetuity, forever. So those are his secret demands, everybody, and that's the entirety of the victory plan. Oh boy. So Elensky also said that Ukraine is fighting a war against 3 countries. That's right. It is not only at war with Russia, Elensky said that Ukraine is at war with three countries: Russia, Iran, and North Korea. That is what Elensky said. Ukraine is at war with Russia, Iran, and North Korea. By the way, I found out why North Korea blew up the roads. It's because they claim South Korea was sending drones into North Korea. I guess drones to monitor and surveil and spy on North Korea. So North Korea got pissed off and they blew up roads. And they warned South Korea, don't send drones over to our territory. We will consider this an act of war. But anyway, Ukraine is at war with three countries. Russia's at war with 40, 50 countries, right? All of the collective West. The United States, Canada, South Korea, Japan, all of Europe, pretty much all of Europe with the exception of Serbia, right? A couple other countries. Maybe you could throw Hungary in there and Slovakia, but if Ukraine is at war with three countries, then Russia's at war with 40, 50 countries, right? Oh man, they're going deep in this North Korea narrative thing. They're really going into this North Korea is propping up Russia narrative. It was China. That was mostly the United States though. That was mostly Blinken and the Department of State that was running with the China is propping up Russia's war machine narrative. For a time it was India. India is propping up Russia's war machine with exporting oil, refining oil, and all of that. We had the Iran thing in the beginning of the conflict with the Iranian drones, so we've already gone through that narrative that the Russian military is being propped up by Iran and Iranian drones. But now we're at North Korea. Now we are at North Korea. Will this one work? Will this one finally get the collective West, finally get the U.S. involved in a hot war with Russia? Is this going to be the one, North Korea? Because China failed, though it did help the United States put sanctions on China, which was the ultimate purpose of the whole. China is providing Russia with weapons and stuff like that. So they did kind of get the sanctions on China. That was accomplished, but it didn't get U.S. boots on the ground. The whole China narrative. The Iran narrative didn't get boots on the ground. India, that didn't work. So now we're on North Korea. North Korea is going to unify the collective West, and it's going to push the United States to finally just say, okay, we'll go to war with Russia, because it's not really going to war with Russia, it's going to war with North Korea, right? It's going to war with North Korea. And if all else fails, if Ukraine does lose, if we have to admit that Ukraine has lost, and Ukraine is losing, and Ukraine has lost, but if we have to actually admit to the American people that Ukraine lost, well, we can always say it was North Korea, actually. It wasn't Russia. It was North Korea that won. You know, I've been reporting this conflict all wrong. I have to apologize to everybody. I've gotten this terribly wrong for the past 3 years. It wasn't a conflict between Russia and Ukraine. It wasn't a proxy war between the collective West, Ukraine as the proxy, and Russia. It was actually a war between North Korea and the collective West. Russia is North Korea's proxy. I've been reporting this all freaking wrong. How did I miss this? I don't know. I don't know how I missed this. Oh boy, so the Kiev Independent, they're saying that North Korea has already sent, they're reporting that North Korea has already sent 10,000 soldiers to fight in Ukraine. But in the article, in the reporting from the Kiev Independent, they say they have no evidence of this. They actually say in the article, we don't have any evidence that all of this is going down, this cooperation between Russia and North Korea. No pictures or video evidence has emerged to date that this went ahead, that there's some sort of military cooperation and that North Korean troops are coming to the assistance of Russia and are in Ukraine. They actually say no evidence. But 10,000 soldiers have been sent to fight Ukraine, to Ukraine in order to fight the Ukraine military. And of course, you have the quotes from the think tank experts, right? It's a clear indicator how far Russia and its military have fallen over the last 2.5 years, that it's having to beg, borrow, and buy support from North Korea, said John Foreman, CBE, the UK's former defense attaché in Moscow from 2019 to 2022, told the Kiev Independent. Yeah, it's definitely an indicator of how far Russia's military has fallen. That they have to beg, man, they have to beg North Korea for help, for shells, for soldiers, for military assistance. Putin is begging, please, please, North Korea, please. Please, I can't lose. Help me, help me, help you. Help me, help you. That's what Putin is saying to Kim Jong-un. Help me, help you. Help me, help you. Come on, North Korea. We're the axis of evil. We got to stick together. Oh, man. So Elensky is hoping this, seriously, Elensky is actually hoping that this is going to be the narrative that pushes the collective West in the United States to go ahead with his victory plan and to put U.S. boots on the ground in Ukraine and NATO entrance and no-fly zones and stuff like that, because they're not only fighting Russia, they're fighting Iran, and they're fighting North Korea. So he's hoping that this is the narrative that will get the collective West into a war with Russia. Not going to happen. And for the Biden White House, for the collective West, this is great if Elensky keeps on pushing this North Korea narrative, because as you saw from the quote from this British attaché in Moscow, this is how far the Russian military has fallen. Yeah, they won, but it was because of North Korea. That's why Russia won. The Russian military has been severely weakened. NATO reigns supreme. NATO is the supreme military force in the world. The Russian military force has been diminished, and it's really North Korea that's providing the military muscle to Putin. And then they could also say that Iran provided the drones, and China provided the money and the technology and the chips, and India provided the money and the oil exports, and that's why Ukraine lost. So yeah, that's the North Korea narrative, and the real news of what is happening on the front line in Ukraine. The real news is that things are crumbling for the Ukraine military. Things are crumbling for the Elensky regime. We have video evidence, photo evidence of the Ukraine military driving around Kupiansk, telling everybody to evacuate. Ukraine is evacuating Kupiansk, which means that the Russians are closing in, and with Kupiansk, I believe with Kupiansk, you get very close to Kharkiv, right? That's not a good sign for the Ukraine military. We're getting a lot of reports from UK media that Kursk is crumbling. The Kursk incursion, the Kursk operation, the successful Kursk operation that was going to bring Putin down. It was going to bring Putin down, man. Ukraine has invaded Russia. They're occupying Kursk, bro. Man, Putin's done, man. Putin's finito. That's what they were telling us. Well, now the UK media, even the Telegraph, is saying, yeah, Kursk not going so well for Ukraine. From the Telegraph, Russia retakes half of lost Kursk territory in blow. Nice choice of words. In blow to Elensky. Holding on to the region is central to the Ukrainian president's victory plan, which he presented to Sir Keir Starmer last week. Yeah, I've been saying that the victory plan was based on Kursk. It was made up. The victory plan was made up after Kursk failed, after Elensky was not able to capture the power plant. That's when he sat at the table with his scriptwriters, Yermak, his entertainment lawyer, Podolyak, and his other administration, and they're all actors and script writers and producers. Elensky's administration, they sat at a table and they came up with the victory plan in order to distract away from the debacle that was going to be Kursk, right? So the Telegraph, they're just confirming my reporting on this, my hunch on all of this, which is that that the victory plan came out of Kursk and the Kursk debacle. And now they are saying that Russia has taken half of the lost territory in Kursk, and for the Telegraph to say half, you know, it's more like 80%, 90%, right? When the Telegraph is coming out with these types of admissions, you know it's really, 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 really bad for Ukraine and Kursk. And the UK Daily Express, they've been all in on Project Ukraine. They have been the number one supporter in the UK media for Elensky, and they've been pushing out all kinds of ridiculous propaganda about the conflict in Ukraine and about Russia and about Putin. The Daily Express, right? Putin's sick and he's had 3 heart attacks and he has a bum elbow and a bum knee and he can't sleep at night and all of these things that they've been saying about Putin, right? And Russia's running out of planes and tanks and missiles and weapons and everything. And the Russian economy is crumbling. This has been the Daily Express, right? That's what they've been saying for the past 3 years. Now they're saying that Ukraine is lost. Yeah, Ukraine's lost. They've lost, everybody. Just forget about all our reporting over the last 3 years. Ukraine is lost. That's what the Express is reporting. And they're citing UK military officials. Of course, all these officials are anonymous, and this is all private stuff. This is private, right? This is private conversations that the Express is having with UK military officials. And the UK military officials are saying, and I quote, "I was speaking to a very senior British Army officer today," the source was quoted as saying, "He told me that Ukraine is on the verge of losing the war against Russia. It's very serious." Yeah, it's very serious. All of a sudden, UK media citing British military, it's very serious for Ukraine. So Biden, he is heading to Germany. Yeah, he is heading to Germany, and CNN is reporting that when Biden goes to Berlin, he's going to call a meeting of the European Quad. You didn't know there was a European Quad, did you? Well, there is. There's a European Quad, everybody, and it consists of Bidenopolis, Macron, Stammer, and the pirate Schultz. That's the European Quad, and Biden's going to call a meeting of the European Quad, and they're going to talk about Ukraine. That's what they're going to talk about. They're going to talk about collective West unity, transatlantic unity, and Project Ukraine, according to CNN. Now, I know there's a joke somewhere in this story. Biden meets with Stammer, Macron, Schultz, and this is the European Quad. I know there's a joke in there somewhere, but I just can't think of a joke off the top of my head. Biden meets with Macron, Stammer, and Schultz, and the pirate Schultz. There must be a joke in there somewhere. Let me know in the comments down below if you come up with a good joke for that meeting. But yeah, they're going to talk about Project Ukraine. That's what they're going to talk about. And I wouldn't be surprised if Biden tells Macron, Stammer, and the pirate, if he tells them, Ukraine's your problem now, man. Can you imagine Biden saying that? My God. Biden sitting at a table with Macron and Stammer there, and the pirate, the pirate with his patch, and Bidenopolis says, "Yeah, we're done with Ukraine. They told me that I can't support Ukraine anymore. So it's up to you guys. Are we unified on this? Are we unified that Europe, you're going to take care of Ukraine? I'm dumping it on you. We're all unified." And Macron's going to say, yeah, we're okay. We're unified. And Stammer Starmer's going to say, yeah, we're unified. The most boring man in politics. Yeah, whatever you tell me, Biden. And the pirate's going to say, aye, matey, we're unified. Yeah, that's what's going to go down in Berlin. I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised. By the way, Biden's going to be there at the end of this week, according to CNN. But I would not be surprised if Elensky crashes this party. I would not be surprised if Elensky crashes the Quad, the European Quad meeting. Yeah. Do not be surprised if Elensky shows up. Hey guys, I'm here. What's going on, Macron, my man? Fist bump me. You know, Elensky's been calling the pirate Schultz, trying to figure out when this meeting is going to take place because he wants to crash it, right? Mr. Schultz, how you doing? This is Volodymyr Elensky in Kiev. What's up, bro? And Schultz is like, yeah, Volodymyr, what's going on? You know, Pirate Schultz, it's been a while since we hung out. Maybe we hang out later this week. Maybe drink some brewskis, eat some sausages. I come to Berlin. What do you say? Olaf? Volodymyr, I can't this week. I've got some meetings going on. I can't make it this week. Maybe next week. Aha, Olaf Schultz. I knew it. You have meeting with Bidenopolis. I knew you have secret meeting with Bidenopolis. Please, Pirate Schultz. Please invite me. Please invite me to Berlin. I come to Berlin. I be quiet. I just listen. To what you have to say. Come on, Schultz. Invite me to Berlin. I need to talk to Biden. Biden doesn't return my phone calls. He doesn't return my Snapchat messages. I need to talk to Biden. You know, he's trying to figure out when this meeting is taking place. Elensky wants to get on a plane and crash the meeting. Here's my victory plan. Oh, boy. Tragic, man. It's tragic, dude. Oh, boy. Elensky's buying time. Also, being serious, all jokes aside, he's just buying time, man. He's buying time trying to figure out what the hell to do. Because he has no clue. He knows he's losing. He knows the U.S. is pulling out. The UK knows the U.S. is pulling out, and if the U.S. pulls out, well, then the UK has to pull out, and if the U.S. pulls out, well, then Europe is cooked. They know that Project Ukraine is crumbling, and Elensky, with this whole victory plan narrative, is just trying to buy time. But you see, he's buying time at the expense of his people. And Schmeichel, he said yesterday, the Prime Minister, my precious Schmeichel, he said that, what did he say, 80% or 90% of Ukraine's energy infrastructure has been demolished by Russia. Russia has all the leverage. They're holding all the cards in this. But no one can bring themselves to call Putin. No one can bring themselves to capitulate. Biden's done. He's out. The election's in 3 weeks. He's gone. Audi 5000. Sullivan's gone. Blinken's gone. They've got a war in Iran to rev up for. The Pentagon even said that they don't have weapons. The Pentagon spokesperson actually said that they don't have unlimited weapons, and that they just can't keep on sending weapons to Ukraine forever. She actually said that. Something like that. An admission that the weapons are going to be going to Israel and not to Ukraine. And even Politico is reporting that Elensky's pissed off at the fact that air defenses and THAADs and all of this stuff was used in Israel to protect Israel, and none of that has been used to protect Ukraine. This is what Politico is reporting. Elensky's hurt. He's pissed off at this. And U.S. military officials interviewed by Politico, they said, well, the reality is that Russia's a nuclear power, and we can't create a no-fly zone over Ukraine. It's too difficult. It's too dangerous. It's too risky. The truth is that they've given everything to Ukraine. They've given all the patriots they have to Ukraine, and they've lost. They've given everything, hundreds of billions of dollars, maybe even $1 trillion, maybe. Over the last 10 years, probably they've given $1 trillion to Ukraine. They've given all their weapons, all their Patriots, all their interceptors, all their missiles. They have no more. That's the reality of the situation. And whatever they do have, they're going to give to Israel, and they're going to use to go to war with Iran. I mean, that's the way things look. But Politico is saying that Elensky is upset with all of this. So talking about the Middle East and the possible war that is brewing between Israel, the United States, and Iran, we have Blinken and Austin. They are telling Netanyahu, they're telling Israel, Netanyahu, that if he doesn't open up humanitarian aid to Gaza in the next 30 days, then the United States may, possibly, maybe stop military aid to Israel. That is what Blinken and Austin told Netanyahu. This is being reported everywhere. Here is what Blinken said. Allegedly, this is what Blinken and Austin told Netanyahu. Failure to demonstrate a sustained commitment to implementing and maintaining these measures may have implications for U.S. policy under NSM 20 and relevant U.S. law, Blinken and Austin wrote. Failure to open up humanitarian aid into Gaza is what they're saying, may have implications in military aid that the United States has earmarked for Israel. May. The key word is may. And Israel has 30 days to open things up, or else maybe military aid is stopped. All right, so that's it. That's it for the news. I believe I covered everything. Let's talk about some clown worlds. And we begin with Boris Johnson from The Express. This is the title from The Express. Boris Johnson called Putin small, puckish lowlife during furious phone call over Ukraine. Boris Johnson called Putin a naughty little bastard in a furious phone call over Ukraine in the fall of 2021. Johnson tried to reassure Putin that Ukraine would not join NATO. Former British Prime Minister Johnson told Putin in a phone call, "You have no reason to invade Ukraine. There is no way Ukraine is joining NATO anytime soon." The Russian leader, according to journalist Bob Woodward, asked how long that would be. Johnson replied, "The reality is that Ukraine is not joining for the foreseeable future." Johnson believed that Putin allegedly wanted Western leaders to openly state this. In addition, the former British Prime Minister believed that publicly stating that the alliance's doors were closed to new members would be an admission of defeat. So I imagine this is from Woodward's latest book, War, and he interviewed Boris Johnson. I guess that's what's going on here. As The Express is reporting that Johnson told Woodward that he called Putin and told Putin there's no chance that NATO's going to accept Ukraine. Don't worry about it, bro. But Putin was being unreasonable and he wanted NATO to say it. Just say it that Ukraine is not going to enter NATO. Just say it publicly. And Johnson said, we can't do that. That would be an admission of defeat. And I'm Boris Johnson. I'm trying to be the adult in the room. I'm trying to be reasonable because that's Boris Johnson, everybody. His reputation is that of being a very reasonable, very level-headed, rational leader, right? That's Boris Johnson. That's what we all know Boris Johnson for, being rational and reasonable and diplomatic. And he tried to reason with Putin, but there was no reasoning with Putin. There's no reasoning with Putin. He's just unhinged, man. Completely emotional. Putin is totally wrapped up in his emotions. And yeah, that is what Woodward is reporting. So Johnson called Putin a puckish lowlife. Everything they say is projection. Everything they say is, remember that. Everything the collective West leaders say is always projection. Always. It's always an admission and it's always projection. Anyway, we have news that Kamala Harris is considering going on the Joe Rogan show. Multiple sources are reporting this, and even Reuters is saying that that Harris is in talks with the Harris campaign is in talks with Rogan's team. According to Colin Rugg, the development comes as Harris is desperately trying to reach more male voters as she continues to struggle with men. That's her problem, is she's struggling with men. There's a joke in there somewhere. I'm not going to go there. But anyway, she's looking to go on Joe Rogan. There are reports that Trump is also going to go on Joe Rogan. And I've heard that Joe Rogan isn't fond of Trump. He doesn't like Trump, or he's not supporting Trump. I don't know. That's what I've heard. But maybe Joe Rogan's going to have Kamala and Trump. Can you imagine 2-3 hours speaking with Kamala Harris? Is that even possible? Is that possible? I don't know. I don't know. And finally, Reuters is reporting that Ukraine is urging Brazil to arrest Putin if he attends the G20. The G20 is happening in November, and Ukraine is already contacting Brazil, and they're telling Brazil if Putin comes to Brazil to attend the G20, well, then you have an obligation under the Rome Statute to arrest him. Putin's not going to go to the G20. Lavrov will go. Putin won't go. Even if there wasn't an ICC warrant, there's no need for Putin to go to the G20. The G20 is meaningless. The G7 is completely meaningless. That's completely meaningless. The G20 is getting there. It's getting to the level of the G7. The G7 is just it's a circus. It's a clown show. It's the G7 countries, which are not even the Great Seven anymore. The real great countries now, most of them are in BRICS, with the exception of the United States. The United States should join BRICS. If Trump wins, Trump should take the U.S. into BRICS, and that should be the G5 or the G6 or whatever it's called, right? But the G7, meaningless. No one cares about the G7. The G7 just provides good clown world material. The G20, kind of interesting, but for the most part, it's also pretty meaningless. So there's no reason for Putin to go to Brazil. Lavrov will go, and that will be just fine. And I wouldn't risk it if I was Putin anyway. Don't fly that distance from Russia to Brazil. The neocons are in a panic, and they're getting very desperate. Why risk it? The big meeting is going to happen in a couple of weeks in Kazan. That's the big meeting. That is the big one. New payment system. Taking on the USD reserve currency. That's the big meeting that's going to take place in Kazan. Anyway, that's the video, everybody. theduran.locals.com. We are on Rumble, Odyssey, BitChute, Telegram, Rockfin, and Twitter X. And go to the Duran shop. Pick up some merch, like the t-shirt I'm wearing in this video today. You will find a link in the description box down below. Take care.